you've been able to join me on this webinar that I'm going to be doing on how to become insanely attractive online and stay dressed. I think that's one of the worries for people, that they have to get onto social media and do things that they wouldn't normally do in everyday life. And I really want to be able to say to you, no, that's not really the case. No, you've got total control of what you put out there and how you present yourself. But what I will say is that we need to look at it in a different way to our usual sort of everyday posts. So let's get started. So first of all, a little bit about me. You'll find me on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter mainly. I do have a website which will be going live in the next couple of days of the same name. And I just want to tell you a little bit about what I'd like to achieve from this webinar. I want to give you an introduction to attraction marketing. So, I mean, a lot of you will have heard of marketing, and all of us have experienced being marketed to. Attraction marketing is something that I discovered about 4 or 5 years ago, and at that time it was called relationship marketing. And in its sort of evolution, it's become attraction marketing, especially amongst network marketers. And what I want to do is just talk a little bit about that and give you an understanding of how to attractively market yourself online. I also want to give you a quick, very brief overview of internet marketing and internet networking, and then go on to some tactics, which is getting started on Facebook and Instagram. And I'll explain why I chose those two media later on. And then the last thing is content creation and how actually to become attractive. So first of all, a little bit about me. I've been a doctor for over 20 years. I'm a wife and mum of 4 children. Very well, they're not children really anymore. My oldest is nearly 18, and I have a 16, 14 and an 8-year-old. I read a book by Tim Ferriss called The 4-Hour Workweek about 8 years ago, and it really turned my ideas about income production and earning a living on its head. What Tim Ferriss was advocating was actually developing a online business, which you worked hard at initially, but put in systems but you worked hard and you put in systems to make it automatic, and so that you could actually leverage your time, and this would allow you to do other things. I mean, for Tim, it was traveling. For other people, it may be looking after a young family or looking after older relatives, or doing charity work, research, whatever. It just gave you the flexibility if you were able to have an online business. So I read the book and I was completely fascinated. However, it was a little bit difficult for me to think of how to actually make that transition from a doctor onto an online merchant. So I did start a company, and Greenfields Medical Chambers is going strong. But I found that I was actually doing a lot of the day-to-day work in terms of being a GP, and I knew that still hadn't quite cracked the code. And then another friend introduced me to network marketing. The company that she belonged to was fantastic, and because their products were online, I thought to myself, actually, this fits in with what Tim Ferriss was saying, so maybe I should take it on board. And I thoroughly enjoyed the experience, and I've gone on to mentor a number of people in building their own businesses. So then I became an online merchant and realised that my one sort of weakness really was not knowing that much about marketing. So I've spent the last 2 years really doing an in-depth study in not only learning techniques, but actually applying them online and building up my business in that way. And what I want to share with you today are the sort of pearls that I've learned in that process, so that you don't make the mistakes that I do, and really are able from the start to market your business really effectively. So a few pictures of my family. So my teenagers and my youngest daughter there, and then lots of nephews and nieces. I'm sure that group has actually grown. I'm sure I've definitely got another niece amongst that lot there. So now, what I really think is fascinating is actually focusing on the thinking behind marketing rather than the tactics. The tactics you're going to find everywhere, and although I will cover them in the webinar, I think what I really want to focus on and really want to emphasize is the thinking behind the tactics, because you'll find that you'll come across lots and lots of different social media, lots and lots of different platforms to market your companies and market your business. But if you go back to the thinking behind it, these principles are transferable across all platforms, be they online or offline. And that's what I really want to sort of emphasize today. But although, as I said, I will be going into an introduction on being open for business on Facebook and Instagram. So why the internet? Well, we're in the digital age. That's where the people are. Social media is where people hang out. And if we want to grow as businesses and grow quickly and effectively, we need to be on social media. It also allows us to leverage our time. So how do we best use this medium? And that's what I want to talk about today. So what is attraction marketing? Well, marketing is getting someone who has a need to know, like, and trust you. A mentor of mine, Joe Polish, he says that marketing is selling in advance. So basically, you're setting up an environment where your customer knows, likes, and trusts you, and therefore you're able to make recommendations, invite them to try products or businesses or all sorts of things. Basically, because that relationship's been established, you're able to offer your clients so many solutions to their problems. So why do we need to be different? I mean, there was a time when we could be like the stallholder in the market and just shout with the loudest of voices, and people would come flocking to our tables, to our stalls. But the problem now is the marketplace is really noisy. And the most valuable commodity for the marketer, or for any businessman or businesswoman, is the attention of their audience. So how do we actually get people's attention? Yes, we could shout really loudly. We could have the biggest, flashiest website. We could have the most noisy sort of social media campaign. But rather than be the loudest, what attraction marketers are doing are they're becoming the most relevant. They provide the most value and offer the most solutions to their audience, and therefore they become trusted. And when a person trusts you, they're more likely to hand over money for you, because they are exchanging one thing of value for another thing of value. So what does that mean for us as businesses? Well, our advantage is that we're small. We have the agility and the flexibility in the marketplace. We don't have huge sort of corporate boardrooms telling us what we can put and not put out there. So really, social media is our dream come true. So we're creating a relationship with our audience and making an environment where people can find solutions for their problems. I mean, you've probably all heard it before. An entrepreneur or a business person or a business are people that provide solutions to other people's problems. So what we're doing is we're creating an environment where people can come and actually find solutions to their problems. And along the way, we can entertain and educate people as well. So now, one of the things that really is important is that you brand yourself as a business. So I mean, it could be that you aren't a network marketer, and your business needs branding. But again, your business probably provides a number of services, not just one service. So the principles are very much the same if you're branding an individual or you're branding a business. Basically, you pick the area that you're going to serve your clients in, and then you become as useful as possible in that area. And actually, if you want, I've got a lovely video, a little short training that I did for my team on branding. And so do just give me a shout if you want to watch that, because I can send you the link. So we're creating an environment and we're creating a brand. So social media is all about branding you. And it's never been easier because we can put out so much content on any of the platforms. So why are we branding you? Why are we branding ourselves? Because we become the go-to person for that product or service. And that's what we want. We want that link in that person's mind that when I have a particular problem, or when they have a particular problem, then they go to person Y or person X, because that person's already been giving them value in that arena. So what are the 3 steps to marketing? So we need to build an audience, we need to engage your audience, and we need to sell your audience. But what happens often is that we get stuck at stage 1, or we jump straight into stage 2 where we're trying to sell, but we haven't actually built up that audience, and we definitely haven't built up that know, like, and trust relationship. So now you've probably all heard of online marketing. Now, online marketing refers to the strategies that you use to market a product or service online. So we can use email, we can use social media platforms, we can use websites. These are more the tools that we can use. And online marketing, often people think that individuals go into online marketing because they're afraid of talking to people. And that may be the case, because it is very possible to automate the whole customer experience and still deliver value and educate your clients. Generally though, in that case, you need a huge email list or a huge reach. You need lots and lots of followers. But what I want to just sort of highlight is that because we're small businesses, we can actually do a lot of networking. Now, in actual fact, this is relevant to any business, be it large or small. And interestingly, in the digital age, it is about building relationships to build our customer base. So although we're using the social media platforms as a hook to reel in our fish, what's really important is a relationship we build up with that client that makes all the difference. And this is where social media is a gift, because the huge advantage of social media is that it's interactive. We can actually, it's not a one-way street. We can actually get feedback from our customers. They can ask us questions and we can answer them. So the other thing is that our ideal customers can find us, so we can then grab their attention. And remember, I said that their attention is the most valuable commodity to us. All of us have got fantastic products. We've got products that really, really do what they say on the can, and they are a real solution to people. But our problem often is getting them to look at the product. So social media is actually one way of actually getting people to look at the products that we provide and the services we provide. So this is my first author actually. He wasn't too happy when I put this slide up, but basically I just wanted to use it to illustrate the principle that I'm looking for people that are looking for me. And remember, right at the beginning, I said that on using attraction marketing, you can actually put out the content that actually is coherent with your values, which really honours the principles that you live by. Because what you're doing is you're putting the head above the parapet and saying, this is me. Where are the people that are like me? Okay? So, as I said, I'm looking for people looking for me. And now, how do we do that? Well, let me just say, rather than us chasing people, our aim with attraction marketing is that people chase us. Now, especially if you come from a network marketing background, where we've been taught that anything that walks, anything with a heartbeat is a potential prospect. This is a slight change in emphasis. It's not really that new a concept, because a couple of books, for example, Natural Selling by Michael Oliver, really covers this in the way that he actually suggests that we really talk and listen to our clients. We really question and listen to our clients, and then we provide solutions that are in keeping with the information that we found out about our customers. Okay, but in terms of attraction marketing, what we're doing is we're putting out content and becoming valuable to our audience, and then the audience self-select. If they're ready to work with us, if they're ready to purchase from us, then because they're in that environment, it's easy for them to actually buy and have a business interaction with us. So let's talk a little bit about the social media strategies. I hope things are clear. It should become even more clear when we start doing the section on content. But when we talk about social media strategies, there's a number of strategies. There's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and actually, if we wait till 2017, there's probably one or two more that we can add to this list. Now, as I said, it doesn't really matter which strategy you're using, because the principles and thinking behind it are very similar. You may need to tweak it so it fits in with the way that the platforms work, but really the idea behind the marketing strategy is common to all of these media, online and even offline. So one of the real worries that people have about putting content out there on social media is that it's available to the public. And what I would say is that, decide and really think about what you want to put out there. One of the social media gurus, Gary Vaynerchuk, he has made a concerted effort, in agreement with his wife, that he doesn't put pictures out of his kids. And he said that you'll really struggle to find pictures of his son and daughter online. And that's a conscious effort that they've made. And we can do the same. It could be, for me personally, I don't tend to put too many pictures of my children up, but I do use them once or twice. Now, the thing is, it's really important to portray your lifestyle, and because I only use, really, to be honest, I only use Facebook for business and Instagram for business. If I want to converse with friends, I tend to pick up the phone and talk to them, and I keep in contact that way. So everything on my business page is actually directed to finding potential clients. Okay, but another mentor of mine said that when your business becomes your lifestyle, and your lifestyle becomes your business, everything will change. And I think here what she's saying is, well, I know what she's saying is that we become so good at inviting and recommending products and services that there's no real hard line between business and personal life, that we recommend and we invite both in our business and in our personal life. And when we realize that those two things are really well intertwined, then everything becomes so much easier. So I'm going to focus on Facebook and Instagram. The reason for this is that Facebook and Instagram are linked, and between them they have the largest market share of social media. In fact, nearly everybody is on Facebook. So these are the largest social media platforms, and in fact, your Facebook stream links directly to your Instagram stream. These both give you the opportunity to educate, entertain, and interact with your audience. So you need to write this down. When we're developing content and developing posts that we're going to put out on social media, what we're doing is we are aiming to educate, entertain, and interact with our audience. Okay. So the first thing is to make sure that you're open for business. Now, the number of people I found that really haven't got a clue and haven't really set up their profiles correctly, I've just lost count of. And what I want to do is make sure that the people that attend this webinar have set up their Facebook and Instagram profiles so that they are open for business. So Facebook, once you actually sign up, Facebook gives you a profile. That's your personal profile. I mean, it could be your business profile. And from that profile page, you can have a number of things stemming from it. You can have a business page or a fan page. So the reason for this is that the reason for needing one of these is that you can't run Facebook ads on your Facebook profile. You need to create a business page. It also means that people can follow you and follow your posts. The other thing you can do is you can set up groups. Now the groups can be public, they can be closed. So that means that that a person asking to join the group needs to be approved. And a group is a great way of actually getting to know your customers. And especially if you're starting out, you can invite people to your group before you start a list. Although I haven't mentioned lists, I haven't mentioned email lists really at all. Now, email lists are the commodity that you own, and everything that you're doing should be working towards increasing your email list. So apart from actually turning a profit every day or every month, your next big job is to make sure that you have an email list and you're interacting with those people on the list regularly. The other thing that Facebook does is that it gives you access to a messenger facility, and this is really handy, especially if you have clients or sort of collaborators in different countries. So now what I'm going to do is just stop sharing the screen for a short while and then share again to show you my Facebook page. Alright, so if you look, this is Facebook, and if you go to your homepage, there's me. There's me again, trying out a new Tesla, which is one of, oh, I'll have to show you a picture. A very nice car. So that's the Tesla car that I'm aiming for. The world's, well, it's not the first, but the world's most anticipated electric car. Okay, so enough of the cars. Right, what I want you to look at is here. You've got a profile picture, and it's you don't have to post a picture of yourself, but really most serious marketers, most serious business people are posting pictures. It's basically, again, looking at the know, like, and trust. When people see a face, it's actually much easier for them to relate. The next thing that we have is the cover photo, and you can upload any photos. I'll show you. I haven't done it yet actually. On my fan page, I'm going to put the same header as for my website. Okay, now you see these three little dots. These three little dots are really important. If you press those, you can actually view your page as a visitor. It'll tell you that there. Just press OK. But can you see up here it says, this is what your timeline looks like to the public. Now, can you see these three buttons at the top? Add friend, and that should come up automatically. But the follow button doesn't always come up automatically. So you need to actually manually add that. And what can we do? And I'll show you how you do that. Oh, sorry, this is my top of it. So we need to exit this. You need to look at timeline settings and make sure that you've got the settings set as public, and this is what I mean by being open for business. So who can see your future posts? The public. What I have done, sorry, it's a little bit late over here. What I have done is that I review all the posts that actually are put in my timeline. This is because I had a problem once with a friend of mine who had been through quite a severe trauma, and she was collecting money for this particular charity that dealt with her condition. But unfortunately, she was very enthusiastic about posting on her friends' timelines. So since then, I've actually blocked her posting things on my timeline, but also remained friends. So the other thing, so you're going to make the open to the public, and then just read through this. Who can send you friend requests? It has to be everybody, because remember, you're trying to reach out to people, so you need to have everybody that's showing you a friend request. Okay, who can look you up using the telephone number? Everybody. Okay, and do you want search engines outside of Facebook to link to your profile? Yes, you do. Okay, the other thing is followers. So let's just have a look. If you go through this systematically, it means that you've got your settings on correctly. Now, what you want to do is who can follow me, and basically you can choose, but I choose everybody. Okay, so that's really important. So let me just see where we're up to with the slides. Make sure that it's okay. Right, so that in a nutshell is how to set up your profile page. What we can do is we can go to my business page. My business page, there it is. And you see it's very similar. What you can do is you can view pages to visitor as before. Remember, it's these three dots here. I just want to check that everything looks correct. Now we've got a like button, we've got a messages button, we've got a contact us. I think contact us goes to a survey that I've done. I can show you one day how to set that up. Okay, so you've got messages there as well. Okay, once a person, if you invite a person to like your page, it means that Facebook think that you're interacting with them more, and they'll make sure that your posts are actually on the social media, so on the timeline, on their timeline. Okay, so again, profile picture, cover picture, make sure you've got a contact us, like button, and messaging button. Okay, so if I now go back to PowerPoint, well, actually, if I need to stop screen sharing, see what's going on there, and then if I share the screen again, we'll just, right, there we are, a business person. Okay, so we've covered the basics of setting up a profile page, setting up a fan page, and like I said, the fan page is important if you want to run ads in the future. We can also set up groups, and the way that we do that, I'm not going to go through it all today, is just look at the sidebar if you're on Chrome, and it just tells you, you know, that you can subscribe to a particular event. And you've got groups here, you've got pages there. Okay, so that's really it about Facebook. And then the main thing is actually to actually engage your audience. Okay, so let me look at this. So I want to stop the sharing the screen, and I want, oh, I'll tell you what I want. Follow that, and we are now following the PowerPoint. So there we are. So as I said, we've got Facebook profile, business page, groups, and messages. Instagram, very similar. You've got a bio, you've got posts, and you've got messages. I'm going to show you actually on the PowerPoint demonstration rather than take you over to a computer. Instagram works best from the smartphone. You can load it up onto a PC, but you can't post onto it. So it's useful if people are having long journeys, they can actually continue posting. Right, so this is your profile. There are only two places that the Instagram search engine allow you to search. One is in the account name, and second is along this line, which normally people put their name in, but I've put in follow me for Instagram tips. And the reason for this is that this text is searchable, as is this text. And imagine yourself coming into Instagram, you're looking for something in particular, and you just don't know where to start. So if people are collecting their sorry, lost my track. So if people are searching for you, then they can find you, because the search engines will search your name and also that line. The other thing about Instagram is that there's only one place that you can put a link, and that's in your bio. So what I tend to do is put my online Facebook marketing group on there, but every now and again change it depending on the offer that I'm running. So there you are. You've got your then you've got posts. Right. Okay. Now the next. Now again, being open for business. If on your phone you can click onto this settings gear, and what you find is you come into this screen. Now it's this that you need to make sure is not turned off or turned on. If it's a private account, nobody will be able to message you or talk to you. So you want to leave it as a public account, okay? The other thing, do you remember I said that you can message people? Well, if somebody messages you, it appears in this little inbox there. You just click on it and then the message appears for you. And it's a really good way of interacting with your audience. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is becoming the person you want to attract. What attracts you to people? Yeah, it's them being helpful, lively, full of energy. So what you want to do is make sure that your content reflects this. Now, you don't have to actually create your content on your own, especially at the beginning. You can curate content. So that's for example, coming across a website that you really find useful, and you can post that onto your Facebook page or your Instagram page. It's useful putting a few little sentences together as to why this is really important, and that again brands it to yourself. Make sure it's interesting, educational, entertaining. So the links that you're providing or the content that you're providing on your posts are educational or entertaining. Also use the language of kings. You don't want to be moany or whiny, because this lowers your energy, and business only happens at higher energy levels rather than the rock bottom energy levels. Another way to increase your energy levels is to edify people and congratulate them on their successes. It means that people see you, one. Two, it's the right thing to do. It's nice to share in other people's success and really wish them well. The other thing that you can share on social media is lifestyle. I don't tend to post many pictures of the kids, but if you look today, there's a picture of me trying out a new car, and this was only a demonstration model in the local sort of designer outlet, but me and the kids have great fun taking photos, and actually it's a really nice car and one worth aspiring to. But of course, there's quotes, and they're really good to fall back on. And if you message me, I can always give you a quick idea of how and which apps to use to actually enhance your posts. Oops, what have I done now? So the aim of content creation is to allow you and your clients, or you and your audience, to interact. Now, the reason that it's important that they interact with you is that you stay on their mind longer, and they stay your feeds stay on their timelines. And this is really important, because people tend to be not lazy in a bad way, but we tend to go for our own convenience, And if there's a coffee shop that sells decent coffee next door, you're more likely to go there than hike an hour across town. So each piece of content you create or you curate, make sure you've got a call to action. So for example, comment below, or sign up for my newsletter, or send me a message so that I can send you out free samples. So you need a call to action. So every post should have a call to action. Remember, this is a two-way process. So if you want people to like your posts, you need to go out there and like theirs. And what happens is that your circle of influence expands exponentially. So when you do make these contacts, make friends and chat about everything else apart from business. You're trying to create a rapport with your new contacts, and you're trying to find out from themselves what their problems are, and then you look back into your product arsenal and see what is most fitting for them. And the way that we can do that is we can like and comment on their posts, and nobody really finds it freaky if you're doing that. So that's a really important thing to consider. So I think we've actually finished there, which is good because it's getting really late here. Now, I hope and pray that this was really useful for you. Feel free to post any questions and I can get back to you. Please do check out my fan page, and I really appreciate you liking it. Sign up to my newsletter. I'll send you a link if you send me a quick message. But I really hope that you found this useful, and don't hesitate to contact me with any questions. See you. Bye.